Hello Trisha, it's Tuesday, June 29th. Now, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be talking about this, so excuse me for my rambling. But first, I was watching on TV last night. There was a guy who went to India because they were outsourcing his job. India has literally become like this huge technological power because the huge amount of engineering majors that they have now. Like, the amount of engineering majors that have appeared in India has been such a huge boom. It's crazy. And because of that, almost all of the technology in the US is being outsourced to there, causing all of these jobs to go there, and there's such a surplus of jobs there and a detriment of technological jobs here that it's crazy, and it's all because of the engineering. I feel though it's not just the lack of people going into engineering or the funding for the engineering. I think it's the way that we are raising kids. And speaking of just raising kids, our entire school system's horrible. The way we teach kids isn't right. I mean, from just going through it, the whole progression of how we do this it's not supportive to most people. I mean, seeing as how like maybe 30% of a class is going to actually gain something from that type of education, whereas the rest of the 70% of students are either going to drop out or barely trudge through and do other things like drugs or alcohol or a job and not really focus on school at all. I think it's more of how we raise our kids to have a better mindset on a job to take. So I don't think it's necessarily that we aren't having enough people in the field or that it's not being funded properly. I think we're not raising the mindset of what it is well. I mean, we look out and we see Japan and India and all of these other countries becoming such large technological superpowers, basically, that it's daunting to think of how we are giving them that opportunity. How we aren't letting ourselves thrive off of what we could. Instead of letting China make everything for us, why can't we industrialize a little bit more and actually be able to self-produce? It's not like we don't have the land. I don't really know how I'm supposed to be talking about this. Maybe I should review maybe I should review your video. But yeah. Now, one thing I want to say about the whole financing part is that, no offense, I'm pretty okay with more money going to medicine than science. I mean, as a science geek, I'm not that into medicine, but I do like the idea of expanding our lifespan. And I feel like medicine has a higher ability to do that than science would at this point. Or medical science would have a higher ability to do that than technological science. And military, yeah, I don't see why they need an insanely absorbent amount of money to be able to actually function. But I do kind of agree with medicine, which applies to everyone in the world, every human, everything alive, to have as much funding as it does. I'm good with that. I'm not dissing medicine. But engineering and science and technologically, it does need more funding. It needs more interaction. It needs the ability to be able to take in new ideas and weed out old ideas and be able to just take the new ones and just go with it and grow instead of just sitting on what we have and trying to expand from that. It needs to be able to push that away and make something new and go with it. I really have no idea what I'm talking about mostly. Now, question, do we want to have our topics to be as nicely intense as this, or would we prefer to go back to our stupid ones? I think we know the answer is intense. So yeah, sorry I really am not that informed on this topic. I apologize for that. I shall work on that. But I think something we should discuss next should be, it kind of goes with technology, but it's also a really big hypothetical. How do you think the internet would have affected the world if it was created 100 years before it was? Let me elaborate. What if Anne Frank could have, instead of writing a diary, had a blog? What if in 1990, during the genocides of Rwanda, they could have been Twittering? What if we could have had this global Facebooking 100 years ago? How do you think the world would be now? And how do you think the world would have grown then? I don't know how you want to do this, but I like the topic. It's pretty cool. So, yeah. I can't really do Quidditch in the morning tomorrow because I have an orthodontist appointment. But I'm good in the afternoon, assuming it doesn't rain like it is now. Yeah. I'm not sure if any of that made sense to you. It doesn't really make sense to me half the time. Yeah. Sorry. Bye!